It's been a little bit since my last recording, so I wanted to do maybe a quick haul video from the last 2 months, just to show a few things that I got that I'm really enjoying. So let's get to it. The first thing I want to cover is the Soul Terra by Cocorino. This was a Kickstarter from last year that I got near the, I guess I received it at the beginning of this year. The Kickstarter, this was not the top tier one. There was another bigger box that came with, like, I think a guidebook and everything, but I didn't get that. So, but I got I wanted to get the case, which is a nice felted suede feeling material that clasps nicely. It's a little tight with the box, but I tend to keep my decks in the box, so I didn't want to change that. So I really haven't been using this as much. It's got a nice seal on it, of course. What do you do anytime you have something with a seal? You open it from the bottom. It's a really nice deck. It's kind of unusual for me. Not one that I would normally go for, I think, but I really liked the aesthetic that it had. So these are the backs. Really nice. A lot of gold highlights. Obviously, it's focused on the sun, but it's a very minimalist design. These aren't in any order right now. I've been using the deck a little bit, so I just wanted to, show it a little bit. So I'll go through a couple cards. It's an interesting take, I feel like, on the RWS. Very minimal, very clean line. It's a little bit difficult to read with, I find, so far. But I gotta use it more. I haven't used it enough. I do feel like when you start working with it, you start to understand the cards a little bit more. You see some of the symbolism that is built into the imagery. Obviously, it's very broken down and simplified, but it's still there. It makes it a little bit hard to read intuitively, but there's something there to it. It's hard to put words around it, but there is something there. Like I said, I need to work more with this, and I will do a more in-depth video on this at a later date. But it's a nice deck. You can order it now. It is available through Cocorino. I'll link to it below. I don't believe you can get the pouch anymore. But it is a nice deck. I do recommend it. Really good quality cards, too. The next deck that I want to talk about would be the Terra Volatile deck, along with its expansion. And we can talk about that in a minute. So, I've seen this deck referred to in a variety of different ways. I'm not sure the 100% correct way to pronounce it. I've seen people pronounce it Terra Volatile, Terra Volatile, Terra Volatile, Terra Volatile. So, yeah, I mean, you can work on it any way you want. It's a really beautiful deck, really nice box. As you can see, nice magnetic closure. Take that out so you can see. This deck is put out by Credo Quia Absurdum. This is the second printing, or second edition. This is one of those decks that is really great at first. You think it's such a great idea. There's so many variations of cards and all these extra things, but it gives you a lot of work to do at the beginning to figure out exactly what you want in it. But it's got a lot of different takes on the full cards. Again, there's tons of full walkthroughs that you can see on this deck. I highly recommend checking out some of them. It's really a beautiful, beautiful deck. It's got a whole, like here, this is a perfect example. One of the things that this deck has is another set of suit cards, the vessels, which is it's quite interesting. It's a whole other dynamic to it. You can obviously take them out. You can keep them separate if you don't want to read with them. You can put them in. Right now I have them mixed in. I think I have a lot of extra cards in here right now just because I've been wanting to play around with it. It's a really nice deck. I find it a little dark, depending on your lighting, to read exactly what's going on. Some of the cards are really easy, like this one's very clear and bright, and you can see. But then something like this it's much darker imagery, and I mean just the darkness of the print, not the overall feeling. Although there is a darker leaning side to a lot of the cards, but some of the colors are just gorgeous. That blue is just amazing. But you can see it's got some very traditional RWS imagery in it, but there's a lot of changes as well. So I highly recommend just kind of checking it out yourself. They do have all the cards up online on their website, which I'll link to below. But there's a lot, so you can see what the meanings are. They're coming out with a book, it seemed. I don't know when that's coming out. It seems like it's going to be fairly soon. Cover, I believe, is the same as this. Looks like it's going to be a nice hardcover edition. So I'm definitely going to pick that up when I get it, when it comes out. And I'll definitely do a video on it then. But right now, I don't know if I'm going to do a bigger video on this deck just because there seems to be a ton online right now, and I don't know if there's anything different that I can add to it. So this is the expansion pack, which comes basically with a variety of different takes on some of the cards. New pages of wands, princess wands. So if you want to change from pages to princesses, or if you want to add them in as well. I mean, that's the one thing. It's really nice. There's a lot of options. For me, that gets me a little too in the weeds at times. I'm not sure if I really like it that way. So I got to play around with it more and see which ones I like, which ones I don't like, what I want to take out. It just gets in my head too much sometimes. There's also some yes, no, you're asking the wrong questions cards, and then there's a chaos card, which again, you can see here, it's very, very dark to read. But what this does do is give you a whole new set of majors, basically. So you can use this kind of separately as an oracle deck if you want, on its own, or you can mix these in. They are different cards, different meanings, different. I love that intuition card. It's absolutely beautiful. Obviously, a take on Jodorowsky's Holy Mountain here, which is beautiful. So there's some really, really, really nice cards in here. Highly recommend picking this up. It's really gorgeous. I think it may be sold out right now as I'm filming this, but I did see that they were going to print more. So I think it sold out far quicker than they expected it to. But it's a really, really nice deck. Highly recommend it for people. And yeah, keep an eye out for that book because it looks like it's going to be very interesting. You know, if it's, I don't know how much more expansive it's going to be from what's on the, you know, what's currently up online for you to view on the cards and their meanings, but I don't care. I definitely want that book. It looks very nice just from the little bit of pictures that they have. So, yeah, so definitely highly recommend Terra Volatile. So the next deck that I want to talk about is the Somnia Tarot from Nicholas Bruno. This is a deck that my wife had found online a while ago. I want to say a year or so ago, and it told me about it, and I was super interested in it, and just never got it at the time, and then I totally forgot what it was called. And eventually, I finally tracked it down, and thankfully, it's still available. So I had picked it up, but it's a really nice deck. It's all images are from photographs taken by Nicholas Bruno. As you can see here, this is very much what the deck like has a look and feel. Everything's very robed characters, flowing. It's got a nice eeriness to it. I really do like it. Like the backs too. They're simple. They're, you know, it's got the Freemasonry imagery. It's nice. I'll walk through some of these cards. I do like it. Again, this is another deck that has a lot of there's a lot of videos online about, so you can easily find some walkthroughs. But I really like it. I've been using this a fair amount actually since I got it. It's pretty good quality cardstock. You know, it's a little heavy. Shuffling wasn't the easiest, but you can do it. There's nothing major, but as you know, as you can see, like this is a really nice take on the devil card. But yeah, it's beautiful imagery. Some different spins on things that don't that. It's definitely based on RWS, but there's different takes on some of the cards. Like I really liked this moon card, but it gets rid of a lot of the standard imagery that you would find. But I still really like this. This had come up in a couple of readings that I was using, that I was doing, and really was able to get some nice interpretive readings from it, just based around the imagery of the card. Um, some really nice things. It's, you know, it's got its surrealism going on. It's got this like creepiness. This is beautiful. That's a beautiful sun card. You know, as you can see, like the area, very traditional Seven of Cups. You know, with the idea of options, and you know, it's not always good options, but options nonetheless. Um, you know, some really beautiful imagery. He's a great photographer. It's a beautiful card. So, you know, yeah, like that's a perfect example. Look at this world card. That's really nice. This framing is great. Um, yeah, big fan. I have to say, I hate that I waited so long to get it. He's coming out with, he's in the sample of, I guess, the next deck that he's coming out with. His pre-orders are open right now. Obviously, again, I'll link below. But he's doing an illustrated version that's going to be borderless. Um, it's basically exact takes on the cards as they are, but they in photography, but it's just illustrated versions of them. But they're really nice, really nice backs. It's going to be a little bit smaller. I'm assuming this is, what the final stock will be. But yeah, it comes out, I think, in the summer. I think is what they said. But yeah, highly recommend it. It's a really, really nice deck. So I don't know, like, the limited nature of this. I don't know if he's just, if it's a continuous print run or not. It does come with a little white book. It's mainly, it's all just keywords. But yeah, it's good enough. It's not enough, obviously, if it's your first deck. I wouldn't recommend this for your first deck, obviously. But yeah, it's really cool. Somnia Tarot by Nicholas Bruno. I guess to segue into other things, then what I did get also from his site, from Nicholas Bruno's site, is he has a few altar cloths, and I really like this, the white rose from the flag on the death card. So I really like this. I haven't used it a little bit, but it's still, I have to iron it or whatever, get rid of some of these creases. But really nice, decent quality. It's pretty thin, but it does its job. Feels like it's silk screened. Yeah, very nice. I'll link to this as well. This is, if you're looking for altar cloths, he had a number of selections, a number of options. The next book was something that I've been waiting for since I had first heard about it. I'm kind of curious about. I've read through some of it so far, but it's the Aleister Crowley Manual by Marco Visconti. This is a really nice book. Subtitles, Thalamic Magic for Modern Times, and this is the kind of, and I've heard a couple people say this, and it's actually said very well in the foreword as well. But this is literally the kind of book that I would have loved to have found 30 years ago. When I first got into Crowley, much like the person in the foreword, I think the first book that I that I read was Magic in Theory and Practice, which is, it's a lot. It's a lot. Let's put it that way. As a beginner, it's very hard to wrap your head around a lot of the concepts. What I liked about this book, and I'll do when I read more of it, I'll do more of a video on this, but it's a real nice beginner guide. This is just a great reference book. Let's put it that way. I think this is a great reference book to have on your shelf, whether you're a beginner or you've been doing this for decades. It's just very simple. Like, look at things. He goes through and explains. He has these call outs throughout the book. A lot of charts and imagery to explain. It's a really good overview of Crowley and Thelema in general. It's broken down in a way that he talks about in the beginning of the book, that it's broken out in a way so that it's, the whole plan is that you're supposed to do the rituals in the order of the book, and it'll help you understand and do everything correctly. So yeah, I really highly recommend it. I've heard him speak a few times on some interviews and stuff, and he really knows what he's doing. He understands, at least in my opinion, I think he understands Thelema a lot. He has a really great grasp on just modern magic in general, and yeah, there's just a great book, and this is literally the kind of book that I would have loved to have found when I was first getting into this, 30 plus years ago. But yeah, this is the first no nonsense practical guide to working with the magic of Aleister Crowley in modern times, and it seems to be true. I still got a lot to go through, and I'm gonna, run through it. But this is really great. It's good quality book, nice hardcover. You can get it right now. It's fairly cheap on Amazon. I think I paid 30 for it, and I think it was already on sale a little bit cheaper the other day when I looked. So it's a great book. And one of the last things I wanted to show was actually a gift I got from somebody fairly right around Christmas. It's one of my oldest online friends. We see each other every couple of years, it seems, at this point. But we had some gifts for each other, and she had brought this really great Cthulhu statue. Um, it's called the Cthulhu Ancient One Tribute Box. It's interesting because it's got this little diorama that you can display. But it's got this little book, and it's sold as a book. It's got this little book hidden in the back. Now, there's nothing really special about the book. It's just kind of got an overview of who or what Cthulhu is, just Lovecraft in general. But then it gets into just some images, a sketch of Cthulhu that Lovecraft had, I think, in a letter, if I remember correctly. Just some books, covers. It's mixed in with some memes and references. Just so it's a cute little book, but honestly, yeah, I mean, if you're gonna get it, you're getting this for the statue. I like that the book gets nestled in between the section here. In fact, at first I didn't even realize there was a book there. I just wanted the statue. You might have noticed he was sneaking into the corner of the video, my last video. I really like it. It's nice, really nice quality. So yeah, no, I really, really enjoy this. Really happy to. Got some nice weight to it. So that's everything. I think that I picked up recently. I have a number of books on order that I haven't been waiting to come in. They haven't come in yet. So hopefully those will be arriving soon, and I'll do some videos on them. And yeah, so see you in my next video.